Howdy guys, how's it going? Just made my way out into the mountains in the woods. It has been raining all morning, but right here in the afternoon, we got a few hour window where the rain's supposed to stop and it's supposed to continue a little bit later on and a bit on into the night. But if you took and seen the short that I posted, I don't know, maybe about a week ago, I was showing this Cowboy slash Bushcraft Bedroll setup with an oilskin and a wool blanket. I've done some of these camps before on the channel, but it has been a minute, so I did want to get this out for a more traditional style camp setup. And I know one of the first things that a lot of people was commenting on that short that I posted, how bulky it was, and it was probably extremely heavy. In all honesty, not that heavy, but it is designed to be used more in this fashion unless you was making a like a bushcraft backpack setup with this and also rolling your gear into it. Even though we're going to be going with more of a roughing it traditional bedroll setup, I didn't feel like lugging this thing out somewhere to actually camp with. And it's been a while since we've even used the ATV for a camp, so thought that'd be fun to do and just a time to chill out, relax. Still seems like I cannot fully 100% kick this head cold, so that was another reason. But yeah, as of right now, it is about 52 degrees. I was riding out, again, with the oilskin jacket on, just t-shirt underneath, feel completely fine. You know, you feel it a little bit on your ears and on your hands without gloves on. But tonight we should only be getting down to about 45, 44 degrees maybe. So again, with the setup we'll be doing with the wool blanket and stuff, that should be perfectly fine. But I did bring some additional gear with me just in case. Yes, even though this thing got sprinkled on the way that I've got this thing rolled and packed up, even if it come a downpour, wouldn't have to worry about the wool blanket or anything inside of this getting wet. And since I brought out a small tarp that I'm going to use to like sit under and chill out under, I think that I'm not going to be setting the poncho up in a lean-to configuration, just because that's what I've done the last time that I've done all these setups. So I do want to just kind of use it as a full fold-over style bedroll. And just kind of see how it does with the pooling. If we like run into too much of a pooling issue with the Outback Trading oilskin poncho that we got, then you know I can go about still rigging it up or whatever the best setup option reveals itself to be. I think that will work out just fine. Because again, if you didn't see that short on the bottom here, I've got a Campcraft outdoor wax canvas slash oilskin ground mat. And I don't know, this should be the foot end. Then we have a closed cell foam pad with the reflective side to it, which we'll flip that around. And again, it's not been anywhere near freezing. Like we're just now starting to get back into it being cold, luckily. So if it's only going to be getting down to like that mid 40s point, this right here should honestly be fine, because that reflective side makes a big difference. Also with a layer of the wool underneath us. We'll have to completely change up how we got our wool blanket and stuff folded in here. And then I'll need to flip this mat around. This is something that you can do pretty quickly if you needed to, you know, get this bedroll while it was still raining. But luckily, we're not having to deal with that at this exact moment. You can get into folding, because this is a queen size 100% wool blanket. As I mentioned too, you know, if it was going to be colder, then you would have to take and make a debris bed under here. But we'll go ahead and cinch up the hood a bit and make sure that it's on the opposite side whenever we do go about using it. So make sure that it's face down for later. And then by doing it taco style, where the wool blanket is a queen size, we'll be going for the, again, I call it the diamond fold. That'll give us a bit more ground to take and lean this out on, and then lay the corners out onto, so we don't get as much leaf debris and stuff just kind of mixed in and attached to our wool blanket. If anything, just to keep any mist and stuff off of it, we'll just cover it like this for now. And this might actually be kind of how we go about doing it, since our ground mat's also kind of large. It's just kind of have this laid out like this, just depending on kind of how hard it rains. We could even take, you know, pull the hood up like this and tie our four corners down. Okay, then going into our bag here. Before it starts raining, we'll need to get our other little tarp set up. And since I wasn't, you know, carrying this in on my back, I just kind of got everything haphazardly tucked down in here because most of the weight of the pack was actually sitting on the bedroll itself. Got a camp chair. For this, I just brought out the Helicon Tex Super Tarp Smalls. This is one for Better Bushcraft, so we'll set that up somewhere right here, chill out under it. I do want to have a fire later. I didn't bring a stove with me, so we'll definitely need a fire to warm up our water for a meal. So I can't have it too close to where Poncho and stuff is. And like, even though this says Super Tarp Small, this is still a fairly decent sized tarp. Really smells like the last time I used it. I had a fire close to it. So yeah, I can already tell with this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rig it up maybe in a diamond configuration with the little trees and stuff that's around this spot. I don't know if this piece of paracord is going to be long enough. Okay, so we got lucky right there. So now, and that right there might change the pitch of that just a little bit. We got a spot to chill out under, and our bedroll is right outside of where that's at. So it's still going to get fully rained on. So just ever so slightly change my mind. I am going to take and lift the front of this up just a wee bit along a ridge line. Just because even though I know the zipper on that has got like a wax zipper and should handle water fine, I'm just looking at it. I don't think it would handle any kind of pooling very well. Take and put these little things along the ridge line and then find some little toggles to use. We can adjust the height and stuff of this as needed. Well, that is if the knot of this will fit through. Poncho does have grommets, but they are extremely small. I'll probably have to possibly untie these. Now, actually, where I used bank line to tie those lines there, and the knot's so small, I'm actually just going to take and make some smaller loops to tie onto the grommets with jute twine, and that'll just make life a lot easier here. Okay, and then I know that these will be fine lengthwise. So just pull it that way. Okay, so right here you can see the loops that I've done to tension that up. Then just had a really basic knot to tie up that center grommet because, you know, oilskin does have weight to it. We got that there. I already had some loops tied from the last time I used this poncho, and I brought some stakes with me, so just staked out the corners and then went ahead and tied up the hood. I'm going to try to find a Y stick that we can then run this up and over to pull that out and then stake it down. And then I wasn't sure if I was going to need it for anything, but this is one of the saws that come out of, I think, the last battle box or the battle box before that, depending on when this video goes live. So let's take and try to find us a stick. Right there looks like a decent stick for what we need, if it's sturdy enough. And that right there is some very light fat wood. So I'm sure down in those knots right there, that tree, we could actually probably saw that out and have some decent wood to start a fire with later. That should hold just fine. And so there you go. That is the setup as a whole. That right there is the pocket that we can kind of wide up and get out of the way. But even with a smaller tarp, by the time you do this, well, I mean, it's a poncho, you can actually have a pretty decent amount of room up and under there. Take the jacket off for a second, but go ahead and get our chair set up here. I was not going to bring the chair, but considering how wet the ground is, think it was definitely worth doing. Oh, get it go in the ground a little bit. There we go. So yeah, I'll just have to move the four-wheeler, and we'll get our gear underneath one of these, because it's fine if it kind of needs to get rained on. It's still got deer blood on it from the last one of those that we got. But pretty much like where my four-wheeler is where the fire is going to be in front of our shelter there. We're not going to really be relying on it any for warmth. But yeah, again, we do need it to warm up that boiler water, because brought a freeze-dried meal, which I'm very much looking forward to. So right there, where I just sawed off that piece of wood, there's a little vein of fat wood right through there. So we're just going to get a knife out and shave some of that off. We got a little sprinkle of rain. Get some of that dirt and bark off of there. But no, we got a little sprinkle of rain, but it didn't last long at all. Like right now, anything you see or hear dripping is pretty much just water already falling off of the trees, because I don't think we're supposed to really get any more. This is also a new knife that I've not brought out before. It's a mountain bonded knife. Don't need a ton of this, just enough to help get the wood going, because I took and got, and there we go, now we're getting into that vein a bit better. I've got my ferro rod and a jute match in my jacket pocket. I just thought, since we found this resource just right over there while he's already doing something, might as well use a bit of it, because we're not building a fire platform or nothing. That'll be more than enough. And so yeah, like one thing that I really liked about this new Deer Hunter Outback oilskin jacket is it's actually got these chest pockets on it, and they're pretty dang deep. So it's a great place to carry a ferro rod and jute match. So yeah, I'm just sprinkle that down just right on the wet ground. Since this ain't very good fat wood, I'm just going to use it as our support piece, and it'll burn hot and bright for a bit. Okay, spray that. That's lit. Because then I broke these smaller limbs off of the base of a pine tree, but honestly, they're so like it has been raining pretty good for the past day or two. Fire is good to go. Alrighty, so instead of doing the water in my canteen cup, I still got one of the British mess tins there that will do the water in. But I brought out two meal options. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. But we got our beef stroganoff with cream sauce and teriyaki chicken and rice. I don't think I've had this one. I think this is actually a new ReadyWise like adventure meal. Like it's not one of the pro variants, so I think I'm definitely going to have this one, because I've had this one a good few times and it's really tasty. But I had pasta like 2 nights ago, so I'm just going to go with this one. I'm hoping that'll be enough water. Just finishing off that canteen. But just in case, again, it didn't show up good with the action camera, that's the meal that we're going to be going with. Make sure you have your meat pieces and stuff good and broke apart. Gotta take the jacket off for a second because working right next to the fire is quite warm. Maybe when that pan has a lot of surface area on the bottom, that'll get to going pretty quick. Alrighty, well, she's boiling, so try to get the water in here without burning herself. Then we'll head over to our chair. With my canteen cup, I do have a much better visual reference for this, but I know that the rice should soak up a good bit of that water. But I don't want this. I have made the mistake of, with a different chicken and rice bowl type of thing like this, where I did make it too watery. It just wasn't great. It's like the flavor was still okay, but just the consistency, it turned into more of a soup. But it will soak up more water than you think. I think we need just a tiny splash more. And then we can add cool water to it if we need to. Definitely good and hot. So now we will give her, with this one, definitely 12 to 14 minutes. Okay, so yeah, that right there is the consistency that we are looking for. Okay, yeah, stepping away from the fire. Definitely got to put the jacket back on. I don't know if you can like see my breath when I do that. It's not that cold. It's just because there's so much moisture in the air. Like now I'm thinking at least going to bed, I might not start off with the diamond fold configuration. I think that just folding it over is going to be plenty with that, because that 100% wool blanket is pretty thick, and I've also got my Outdoor Vitals fleece, and then worst case I can always put this jacket on. But again, if it's only going to be touching 45 for a short period of time, I think it's going to be good because it's not windy, so we're not going to have any wind cutting through. Really, it's just a combination of the cool air and the dampness. Man, I was getting very, very hungry. And yeah, this one, that's rice, really swelled up a lot. And we keep getting some really light sprinkles of rain, kind of like misty rain coming through, because like right now, it's showing a 70% chance of precipitation, and that's kind of the constant all the way up until about like 2 a.m.-ish. So I hope we get something a little bit heavier. It sure is wet. Now, like to me, this is like one of those camping meal menus that's really nice, because like teriyaki chicken and rice is never something that I would like make for myself. I pretty much never ever cook rice. If I do, it's always like the Uncle Ben's packs, like pre-made rice. So yeah, this is really good. I did mean to bring out some of the homemade deer jerky that I made to have for a snack, but forgot it. Well, anyways, guys, I'm going to finish scarfing this down, and I got to move some of my gear around. Like what I'm going to do is with my backpack, it's not that it wouldn't fit under there, but just so we have more room, I'll probably just set my backpack on in this chair under this tarp, you know, just out of the way. And just keep a few of my items that I want access to around me. But I'll do that, and then whenever it's time to hit the hay in a few hours, I will get back with you, and we'll decide on the wool blanket fold we want to go with. Alright guys, well, I'm about ready to hit the hay. I'm going to Fix this up just a wee bit more there, make sure. But yeah, it still honestly doesn't feel that that cold. So it's like I need to just get my basic pillow out here. Well, it seems like, yeah, the rain might be picking up a bit now, so not a bad time to start to get situated. Where this is a queen size blanket, I can about take and even just kind of fold 2 layers on top of me envelope style. And I'll probably just have my jacket laid over top of the leg portion. Set our boots, set our boots in the back there. And then the biggest thing with the wool blanket is to make sure that we got our feet good. And I can actually, in this fashion, fold over and just right off the bat, I've got 4 layers of wool surrounding my feet. I do wish that there was something I could do about that pocket hanging down right there, but I mean that's not going to be a problem once we're tucked away in here, because with the wool I like to sleep with it over my head anyways. And if for some reason a bit of moisture, like a bit of the wind, did start to pick up, that just keeps like any minor amounts of moisture off your face. But that's actually really good timing now that the rain's just starting to come about. It's like, yeah, like right now, that is immediately plenty warm. Other than, again, the thing worth mentioning is even though this closed cell foam pad is like fairly thin, like that reflective material, like I can immediately feel the heat bouncing back at my back right now. But yeah, I'm gonna get cozy, and unless something just eventful or something collapses or breaks in the middle of the night, I will catch back up with you fine individuals in the morning, let you know how it went. So until then, good night. Oh, whew. Oh, good morning, guys. How's it going? So we ended up getting some pretty dang heavy rain at one point last night. It lasted for probably about like 30 45 minutes. And I mean, I just woke up for a short bit. Like I was more or less just got woke up by it and then drifted back off. But our oilskin poncho kept us very dry. Some of the edge of our ground cloth and like edges of the wool blanket, I did have it put up over my face because I didn't clear out the leaves around this for the pure purpose of if it did rain, I didn't want the backsplash of like if it does end up raining decent, it'll throw a bunch of dirt and everything. And like there was some water droplets hitting leaves and bouncing, but it pretty much just rolled off of the, you know, beat it up and just kind of rolled off of the wool blanket. But there was even like pooling on a section of the oilskin poncho, and you know, nothing got through. The only thing that did happen is one corner of the tarp that we had set up over there with our backpack under it fell. But I'm really glad where I went with the diamond configuration and had the chair in the center of the corner when it fell. It still kept my backpack and everything covered except for just like that much of the hip belt, so that everything, the backpack, chair, and everything's completely dry, so that's not going to be a pain to deal with getting up and out. But there goes an aeroplane. But the thing that happened with that was, honestly, normally the jute twine, I've had it in periods of rain like that, and it's been fine, even that thin jute twine. But where I used that one piece of paracord on the far end that wasn't quite long enough, I had way more tension on it than I would normally use. So just that combination of the heavy rain, it getting soaked, and then that excess tension and probably a bit of pulling on that center line of that tarp, since I never changed the pitch, just led to that corner breaking. But again, it didn't really affect things too much. I did end up putting the fleece on, but we just having a single layer of this wool blanket over with our oilskin jacket kind of over our legs and feet area. Wasn't cold at all, and it's starting to warm up a bit this morning already. So I will have to take this fleece off ASAP and just start shaking things out. That is a nice thing about the sleep system. Even though the oilskin and just all the oilskin stuff is wet, I can just roll it up and throw it on the back of the four-wheeler. And then I think today it's actually supposed to be fairly sunny, so I'll just be able to air it out once I'm done. Overall, just a nice, more classic style overnighter, and it does work even in pretty dang inclement weather. Okay, and there's like a little bit of moisture that's got like trapped underneath the, or that's even rolled underneath the mat. But being on top of the full mat, even as thin as it is, the bottom side of me is perfectly dry. So, no complaints. But yeah, considering the stuff I'm about to do to pack up this stuff now that it's wet, I'm not really going to screw around with starting another fire and make it any hot drink, even though I really, really want one. I'm going to end things here, guys. As always, really appreciate you watching the video. Make sure to thumbs up button, subscribe if you're not already, share our channel videos with your friends, family, anybody enjoys good outdoor activities and gear. Hit me up in the comments section. Check out previous videos. I'll try to link to everything that I used that is still available down in the video description. And that's a good place to always check for other links or just any general information. So until the next one, guys, adios.